Like Steve said, thanks for coming out. First of all, I want to wish Coach Staley and her team best of luck this weekend up in Minnesota. Congratulations again on making the Final Four. That's awesome. Love watching them compete, and we're so excited for them and to get the opportunity to go represent this university at the Final Four again. So texted Coach Staley the other night after the game, told her we got get 2 more. So let's go get 2 more up in Minnesota this weekend. But we'll be cheering loud for them. A lot of good things going on here with our program. Just finished up our high school coaches clinic this past weekend. The attendance was great. The speakers that we had here were fantastic. Had a lot of the high school coaches, or a handful of the high school coaches, reach out to myself and other assistant coaches afterwards, and had one coach say that he'd been going to clinics for 20 plus years, and this was the best coaches clinic he'd ever been a part of. So we want to thank the high school coaches that made it special, and want to make it bigger and better each and every year, and make this a clinic that every coach wants to come back to. And I feel like we're off to a great start of doing that, and then excited for our South Carolina Football Ladies Day coming up this Saturday. Going to be a fantastic Saturday to spend time with some other great supporters of our program. The demand for it was large. We had to shut down the registration because of so many people that wanted to attend. So we're excited about the people that'll be here this weekend, getting a chance to spend the day with our football program as well. Just finished practice number 7 this morning, continuing to just install and go over situations. Today was a short yardage goal line day for us, so certainly was fun getting out there and competing and working on those situations this morning. So many of those critical moments showed up last year in games, good and bad, whether it be against Florida, where our defense stopped Florida on a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 early in the third quarter. That was huge, in that game for us. Offensively, a 4th down, short yardage in Auburn and Florida games, and a goal line run against North Carolina in the bowl game, and then some bad as well. Some short yardage situations we didn't convert on against Kentucky offensively. Defensively, a goal line touchdown pass that we gave up to Missouri on just a miscommunication. So just emphasizing the importance of all those situations and going out there and working on it this morning. But love the physicality that we're practicing with and the energy that we're practicing with. We've had so many high school prospects and coaches that have, been out to our practices. We had some out there today for the 3rd time this spring, and it's been awesome seeing them. And the one thing they all comment on, every single person, is the energy at practice and how it's different than a lot of places they've been. And that's a credit to our players and staff. And we've got to continue to crank up that energy on the practice field, and then also execute and continue to get better. Injury-wise, really nothing new to report. We're still banged up, a lot of positions, nothing major at this point, knock on wood, but just some hamstring strains and some groin strains and things like that are keeping some guys out right now, but nobody super long-term that we don't think will be back, before the end of spring practice that we haven't talked about before. So just trying to keep everybody healthy. We've been practicing really physical and had a physical practice this morning, and then we'll be back out on the field Thursday, and then going to scrimmage a little bit on Saturday for the first time. But pleased with where we are right now and the progress that we're making. With that, I'll be glad to take any questions. Short-handed today, Steve. Basketball fever, I guess. I appreciate you, Ben. I know I can always count on Ben. He's not. There's no excuses.
Yeah, Shane, thanks for doing this. Yeah. I guess just as far as now that you're 7 practices in, I mean, getting the second spring and getting in a groove, at least on your end. I guess just what's maybe been different about it, and what's maybe been a little bit different about that feel. You mentioned the energy and things like that. Is that something that's just maybe happening a little more naturally? Is it something that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the players know what to expect, and we know what to expect. There's no feeling your way through, okay, what's practice going to be like today? And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's not cookie cutter where we do the same thing every day. I mean, we want to create adversity and things like that on the field and constantly keep them on their toes and all that. But the way that we expect our players to practice, the speed, the effort, the physicality, the toughness, that's non-negotiable. Last year, they were learning that day in, day out. Now, I mean, we haven't had to tell them crank it up and be more physical. If anything, it's settle down, a little bit, because they're really getting after it. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just the expectations of how we expect to practice. And then there's a lot of returning players, offense, defense, and special teams, where mentally they know what to do and they're hearing. I mean, we've tweaked things, offense, defense, and special teams, and always trying to find ways to get better. But at the same time, schematically, the bulk of it is still the same. So there's been a lot of retention, and the new guys that have come in have done a great job of learning the system, and they don't look lost out there either.
Shane, Ben took my thanks for doing this. So I guess from a installation standpoint, offensive and defenses, how do you and Clayton and Sat kind of toe the line between installing new stuff for the guys who are here for the first time versus building on what this group of kind of returners have been able to do?
Yeah, you certainly want to continue to build and tweak, and there's those things. So I don't think you really change too much. You know that every time you start practice, whether it be in January or whether it be in August, you're going to have new faces, transfers, high school enrollees, whatever it may be. And I think you just you install your offense and know that R.J. Roderick and Brad Johnson and Zach Pickens and the returners on defense and the returners on offense, they're going to be a little bit farther along because they do have a year in this system compared to maybe a Donovan Westmoreland or an Anthony Rose or a Peyton Williams or DeAndre Martin, whoever, that doesn't. So you certainly understand that. But the one thing that definitely helps Colin is the fact that we're allowed to meet with them and do some walkthroughs before spring practice, so within the rules with what the NCAA allows, before we take the field for practice, we're already, 4 weeks into installing and teaching and learning and things like that as well. So that certainly helps once you get out there on the field as well.
Hey, Coach, like these two said, we appreciate you being here.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. So thank you.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I wanted to ask, have you talked to Coach Paris at all? And if you have,
Yep. I'm sorry, was there a second part? I have. The day before his press conference, we've talked on the phone one time. I guess I can say that I talked before it was official that he was our head coach. So talked to him on the phone, and then I went to the press conference and had a chance to visit with him before the press conference as well. So really impressed with him, excited for him. He's got a great track record. He told me he loves football and that he'll be out here at a bunch of our practices, which I'm eager to see him out here as well, and excited that he's here with us, and excited to see what he's going to do with our basketball program. Thank you.
I guess you're near the midpoint of spring ball right now. Just what do you feel like you've learned about your team through these first 2.5 weeks, and what would you like to see improve as you get closer to the spring game?
Oh man, definitely have learned that they love to practice. They love to compete. They really do, and that's important. You guys know how much we talk about competition at all times in this program. But I mean, they love to compete and get after it. I mean, there's like the energy, like I said, has been fantastic. So they enjoy being out there on the field as well. And I think the biggest thing going into the last half of it is continuing to progress, because the newer guys, we do have a lot of young faces, obviously, and new faces with transfers and things like that. So let's continue to get them acclimated and comfortable in what we're doing, and then let's also try and figure out who we feel like is going to be able to help us in roles going forward, whether it be offense, defense, special teams. We have a general idea with the returning players as far as what they can do, but let's see who the next group of guys is going to really take a step up and show that they can have a significant role on the team here going forward.
In the spirit of the day, thank you so much for taking time out with us.
Thank you, Phil. It's always great to see you here, my man.
Yes, sir. What's happening at quarterback behind Rattler, assuming he's continuing to run with the ones? What's the competition like there? Do you see any separation with those other guys?
Yeah, they're all Luke Doty's doing more and more out there. He's getting cleared to do more and more each practice, so it's good to see Luke out there. I mean, he's pretty much doing about everything. And then Braden Davis obviously is new and making progress, and Colton has made a lot of progress since last season, and Jake Elfridge and Hayden Lee and our other quarterbacks that are out there. But between Braden and Luke and Colton, along with Spencer, I mean, they're all getting a ton of work, and we get a lot of reps in at practice, a lot of plays. So there's plenty of opportunities for those guys, and I'm eager to see those guys in a scrimmage situation on Saturday where the coaches aren't out on the field and they're having to communicate and operate the offense as well. But I will say this, I mean, Luke has improved. Even though he's been injured, he's improved since the last time we saw him, and I feel like Colton really used that redshirt year to get better. And I'll Colton, for example, you guys know on Sunday nights during the season before we do that teleconference, the last thing we do on the practice field is we keep our young guys out there and take 15, 20 minutes and just work the young guys and let them get extra work and reps and coaching. I mean, that was 20 minutes that was extremely important to Colton last year. I mean, he's out there screaming and yelling and yelling at the receivers to get out there and get lined up and get ready to go, because every minute that goes by is a wasted opportunity in his mind. So, I mean, he worked in those 20 minutes last year with a purpose, and it shows, the way that he's gotten better and improved. So they're making progress, and as is Spencer, and continuing to try and get better.
Any younger guys or guys who didn't play a lot last year for whatever reason who you guys have been particularly impressed with these first 7 practices?
Younger guys, put me on the spot there. Hale. I wouldn't say he's a younger guy, but Tyreek Johnson has flashed. I mean, he's getting a lot of opportunities with JJ and Aaron Sterling being gone. I mean, Tyreek's a guy that I feel like has taken another step, from that standpoint. Bam Scott has been a little banged up here and there, but he's a young guy that didn't play much last year that I think he's doing a good job. We've got some young linebackers that walked on last year. Andrew Colacerdo and KJ Scott and Ronnie Porter. I mean, those are 3 guys that they flash, and you see them during special teams periods and things like that. Been pleased with some of the things that Rashad Amos has done out there on the field at the running back position. I think he's not necessarily young, but I think Hank Manos is showing showing consistent physicality, and has done a nice job on the offensive line. So those are a few that jump out. But I think every day there's guys that have made statements and have made progress, and these young freshmen continue to get better, and that were mid-year arrivals. The transfers, Devontae Reed, had probably the play of the day in the practice last Saturday on a 4th and 1 stop that he made. So there's a lot of new faces that continue to make plays, and that gets you excited.
Shane, thanks so much for doing this. 2 questions for you. With Jaheim missing some time so far this spring, and obviously Austin's not on campus yet, how crucial is this spring for Trayvon Kenyon and his growth and development, and to any plans to possibly get up to Minneapolis to catch the ladies play?
As far as the tight end goes, it's kind of a mash unit right now because Austin's not here. Jaheim's isn't practicing right now. Kenyon practiced today, but he's got a little bit of an ankle that's been bothering him, so he's not really full speed. So it's been tough to get reps. I mean, we've Wyatt Campbell's an offensive tackle that Wyatt's playing a little bit of tight end for us right now just to be able to get through practice. Jesse Sanders is out there. Chad Terrell's a wide receiver that's a bigger body that we've put in there just to do some tight end H-back type stuff, just trying to get reps. So it's very critical for Kenyon, and we need him to get 100% healthy so he can take advantage of the opportunity that he could be getting right now with those other 2 guys not being here, along with all those along with all those tight ends. And yes, I want to try to. Poor planning by the head football coach because we have practice Saturday morning and our ladies' day, so looking forward to that. But that'll keep me from getting up there on Friday night unless somebody's got a plane that can get me up there, fly back Friday night. If they do, then let me know. I'll run up and come back. But if assuming we win on Saturday, I'm going to do my very best to try and get up there on Sunday for that one. I need to go with Jalen. Jalen's, I don't want to get too much into his business, but dates a young lady on the basketball team, so I know he's headed up there, so I need to try and catch a ride with him.
Shade, obviously, I know Luke's obviously trying to get back healthy and compete and to play and all of that right now. But for a guy like Luke who came in and maybe never necessarily got that year to develop and redshirt and all that comes kind of with that and developing as a quarterback at this level, like it's just how valuable is it for him to have a guy like Spencer maybe next to him pushing him and maybe to learn from as well when maybe he wasn't afforded that opportunity maybe in past years as well.
Yeah, no, it's huge. They've been great for each other. I think Luke's been great for Spencer, and Spencer's been great for Luke and that whole quarterback room. But you're right, Ben. I mean, Luke came in, and I know I've talked about it before. Obviously, I wasn't here in 2020, but he's doing a lot of different things in that 2020 season and then becomes the quarterback in a tough situation. And then automatically he goes into 2021 and he's essentially the guy and starts the season as the guy, then gets hurt, then gets thrown into action over in Athens week 3 or 2 or 3, whatever that was. So he's still young and doesn't have a lot of experience. So certainly to be able to, talk to and learn from Spencer, a guy who does have a ton of experience and has played in a lot of football games and has won a conference championship, is really beneficial for Luke. And then, Luke's knowledge of this offense and the way that things have been done here has certainly been beneficial for Spencer as well. It's great that, Spencer's not walking into a situation where he's surrounded by a bunch of guys that haven't played here at the quarterback position. He does have that in Luke, and then obviously Zeb's in the quarterback room working as a graduate assistant as well.
What is the plan with Stogg, just in terms of being able to get him down here?
Say it again.
What's the plan with Stogg now?
As soon as he finishes his 4 classes that he's got to take to graduate from Oklahoma, he'll be here. He's able to come occasionally where it's not on a consistent basis. So he was out here for, what did we just finish, practice 7. I guess he's been out there a couple times like any high school recruit, because that's essentially what he is, has been able to get out here. So he's been able to watch us practice 1 or 2 times. He's back home right now, finishing up the online classes, and then as soon as all that's done, he'll be here for good, whether that be May, June, whatnot.
And how much can you do with him right now in terms of getting him acquainted? Can you sit down through a Zoom session with him and break through some of the playbook? Can Jody do any of that? What's kind of the process in terms of trying to get him?
Yeah, we want to keep him as acclimated and up to speed as we can. So he's like any other high school prospect that has graduated, or excuse me, has signed. Technically they're still a recruit, but you can do on a limited basis X's and O's, Zoom type thing, but it's not a required, consistent, everyday type thing either. It's all within the rules, and our compliance office and Jeff Whitehead, I'm sure you're watching Jeff, does a great job of keeping us up to date on what we can and can't be doing and making sure we're smart with everything on that standpoint. We're not requiring him to get on a Zoom call 6 hours a day from Dallas, Texas to talk about the offense and watch practice and things like that.
Sort of staying on that topic. I mean, within the last couple of years, that dynamic has sort of changed with Zoom being more of a thing. Have you guys noticed that, or tried to, kind of stay with the times and take advantage of that being more prevalent and part of, culture?
Yeah, for sure. Particularly with recruiting as well. I mean, that was recruiting for essentially over a year. Last year at this time, when you couldn't have prospects on campus, so you had to do everything on Zoom. And there's no substitute for getting them on campus, but we're also still able to do Zooms with prospects as well. Maybe it's somebody that hasn't been able to get here, that's from farther away. You know, you can get on there and do a Zoom and get to know each other a little bit better, and then get them down here and visit and things like that. So certainly there were a lot of benefits that came from the technology, you know, during that time. Technology benefits, no benefits from COVID, I'm not saying that, but during that you certainly gained some knowledge of technology and how to take advantage of things, and we certainly want to continue to try and stay on the cutting edge and do what we can from that standpoint for sure.
Shane, as far as the scrimmage, what are you guys kind of looking for? What's kind of the setup for it as far as what you guys are going to do on this weekend?
Yeah, we'll sit down. I mean, I've already got it planned out and scripted out. I did that before spring practice, but that was before, you know, we had a injury report that looks like a rainbow right here as well with all the different colors. So as we get closer to Saturday and we kind of see where everybody is and what certain guys will be able to do, you know, we'll plan that. But like all the scrimmages that we've always done, I mean, we'll, you know, play it like a game and have a lot of just drive the ball, open field, but then also make sure we have enough structured situations where we get some third down work, we get some red zone work, we get some 2-minute offense work, we get some short yardage goal line just in case it doesn't come up, you know, during the course of play. Being able to kick and punt and things like that as well, to see those specialists get out there as well will be critical. But a lot of that will depend. How many plays we do will depend on really the health of these guys. And again, nobody's serious or long term right now. It's just we got some guys that are banged up, which is normal after 7 weeks of practice or 7 days of practice.
Shane, lots of experience up front along the offensive line. I'm curious, how much does that change the evaluation process? With, you know, a few of those guys played a couple different positions last year. How much does that just change kind of the evaluation process of trying to find that combination of your 5 best?
Yeah, you know, you certainly know what Eric Douglas can do at center and what Javon Gwynn can do at guard. So you're certainly trying to find, develop depth there, you know, along the offensive line. And then the more you can do, the better, you know. So the guy that has the ability to play right guard and left guard, the guy that has the ability to play center and guard, you know, the guy that has the ability to play both tackle spots or go from a tackle position to a guard position. You certainly want to make sure you're developing enough depth and getting guys looks in different positions. And with the returning experience that we do have there, that certainly affords you that ability to do that, rather than if it was a group that was brand new that you're trying to get honed in at their at one position. No? Oh, good. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.